The town was living an oppressed life for decades. In this darkness, a gunslinger appeared as a hope. Hope they never expected to unravel. Welcome back to Paramount Recapped. I don't have many subscribers, but your single comment is a ray of hope to motivate me.
That was kind of good.
Pretty good.
The story kicks off in this tiny, out-of-the-way town called Rose Creek, somewhere in the wide, open plains of the American frontier. Life there's simple. Most people just work the land, mind their business, and live peacefully. But peace doesn't last long when trouble shows up in the form of a rich, nasty piece of work named Bartholomew Bogue. This guy isn't just some outlaw. He's a full-on robber baron with a thirst for power and blood, and he's got his eyes on something valuable buried beneath the town, a gold mine. Now, when word gets around that Bogue's gang is coming, panic hits the town like a storm. Everyone gathers inside the local church to figure out what to do. Some are ready to throw in the towel. They're scared stiff, saying it's better to give up the land and live than try to fight a guy with an army of armed thugs. Especially since their sheriff? Yeah, that guy's already been bought off by Bogue. Completely useless. But not everyone's ready to run. Some villagers stand up, saying, "No way we're giving this town up. We bled for this land. It's ours." Unfortunately, their defiance barely has time to settle when Bogue himself rolls into town with his goons, all decked out with rifles and bad attitudes. The townsfolk, more used to handling pitchforks than pistols, are instantly overwhelmed. Bogue doesn't waste time with friendly chats. He gets right to the point. "This town belongs to me now. I'm the law here. Anyone who resists dies." Then he slaps down a so-called offer. Sell your land for $20 or dig your own grave. That insult sets some folks off, and a few brave souls stand up to say no. Bogue doesn't blink. He just raises his gun and mows them down on the spot. Boom. Bodies hit the dirt. The rest of the town? Too shocked and scared to even scream. Just like that, half the men in Rose Creek are dead. To make matters worse, Bogue doesn't even let them bury the dead. He has his henchmen leave the bodies out in the open, right there in the middle of town, as a chilling warning. Resist me and end up like this. Then he rides off, promising to return in 3 weeks to take full control of the town. Not too far from Rose Creek, there's another settlement where a mysterious stranger strolls into a saloon. He's not your average cowboy. This guy's got presence. He's wearing a bandolier, eyes cold as ice, and a walk that says, "Don't mess with me." Of course, in a place full of roughneck drunks and gamblers, someone's bound to stir trouble. A few guys in the saloon ask him who he is and what he's doing there. He calmly explains he's a bounty hunter tracking down a vicious criminal, someone who slaughtered an entire family, did unspeakable things, and needs to be stopped. Before anyone can react, one of the drunks reaches for his gun. Too slow. The stranger draws first and, in a matter of seconds, drops every last one of them. Total chaos turns into dead silence. Everyone left alive bolts, except for one guy, Faraday, a slick, sarcastic gambler who keeps his cool like it's nothing. Turns out, the stranger is Sam Chisholm, a licensed officer sent to take down wanted men. Once he shows his papers, the crowd backs off. Just as he's about to leave, he's stopped by two determined folks, Emma Cullen and her friend Teddy. Emma's husband was one of the men Bogue killed, and now she's desperate. She pleads with Sam to help them save Rose Creek. Sam's reluctant at first. He's not in the charity business. But then Emma pulls out a bag of money, all the town could scrounge together, and offers it to him. Sam sees something in her eyes, raw determination and hope. That moves him more than the cash. After a long pause, he finally agrees to help. Meanwhile, back in the saloon, Faraday is trying to sneak off with the money left on the gambling table. But just as he's slipping out the back, he runs into two guys with a bone to pick. One of them even killed Faraday's brother. They drag him off, planning to finish him for good. But Faraday, always quick on his feet, pulls out a deck of cards and distracts them with some sleight of hand. While they're hypnotized by his tricks, he snatches a gun and takes one out, warning the other with a bullet to the ear. Later, while trying to buy back his old horse, Faraday bumps into Sam again. Sam, impressed by his grit, invites him to join the team. At first, Faraday shrugs it off. But when he hears Bogue is the target, he's all in. Now, 3 strong, they know they need more firepower. So Sam splits a group. He sends Faraday and Teddy to recruit an old comrade, Goodnight Robichaux. When they find him, he's with his deadly knife-wielding partner Billy Rocks, an Asian warrior who can throw a blade faster than most people blink. These two are top-tier fighters, and luckily, they agree to come along. While that's happening, Sam and Emma head to track down another man, Vasquez, a rough outlaw hiding in a remote cabin. He's wanted for murder, but Sam offers him a deal. Help us take down Bogue, and I'll look the other way on your crimes. Vasquez, intrigued by the offer, signs on. Now the gang's growing. Still, they're short of 7, so they ride out to find another legend, Jack Horn, a massive, older man known for tracking and killing with brutal skill. Jack's not interested at first, but after mulling it over, he changes his mind and catches up with them in the morning. Just when you think the group's complete, a silent Native American hunter appears, Red Harvest. Sam respects his culture and shares in a ritual of eating raw deer meat. Red, impressed by the gesture, joins up too. With all 7 in place, they head for Rose Creek, ready to face Bogue's army. When they arrive, the town's a ghost town, all the locals hiding, and Bogue's men posted up on every corner. Sam and Billy walk in alone at first to scope things out. They're quickly surrounded and asked to hand over their weapons. Sam plays it cool, stalling for time, then suddenly signals the others to strike. Jack slits a guard's throat from the rooftop, and just like that, the ambush begins. Gunfire erupts. Sam fires with deadly precision. Billy's knives fly like lightning. Jack charges like a grizzly. Faraday, Vasquez, Red Harvest. Each of them contributes to turning the town into a battlefield. Bogue's men fall left and right, completely unprepared for this level of organized violence. By the end of the fight, most of the thugs are either dead or running for their lives. One guy survives, thanks to a jammed gun, and they make him go back to Bogue with a message. If you want this town, come and get it. We'll be waiting. As he leaves, Emma returns to town. The villagers slowly step out of hiding, relieved but also terrified. Some of them aren't too happy Emma used their money to hire these gunmen. They worry they've just made things worse, that Bogue will now come back with even more force. That's when Sam steps forward and lays it out straight. We didn't risk everything to see you all turn chicken. If you're too scared to stand up and fight, there's the road. Leave. But if you're staying, stand tall and stand together. After hearing some heartfelt, motivational words from Sam and the others, a wave of courage started sweeping through the town. Sure, fear was still in the air. You could see it on people's faces, but there was also a sense of realization. This was their land, their home, and if they didn't rise up to defend it now, they'd lose everything and live with regret for the rest of their lives. So, with just 7 days left before the Baron returned with his gang of killers, the townsfolk knew they had to get ready, fast. The next morning, after a much-needed rest, Sam and his group walked through town and couldn't help but notice that a handful of people had packed up and left in the middle of the night. Fear had gotten the better of them, which wasn't exactly surprising. But what made the group feel hopeful again was how many folks had decided to stay. And it wasn't just the men, even the women and kids were determined to stand their ground. Without wasting any time, they kicked off training. People who'd never even touched a gun were now expected to use one to defend themselves. These are folks who spent their lives swinging farming tools, not firearms. So, when they first tried target practice, it was a total mess. Bullets were flying everywhere, except the target. Nobody could hit a thing, and it was frustrating. Some of the cowboys started to lose hope a little, wondering if they'd made a mistake. But quitting wasn't on the table. They regrouped that evening, trying to figure out a smarter plan. They knew they couldn't go toe-to-toe with the Baron's army and expect to come out clean. So the question became, how could they take out the most enemies while keeping the townsfolk safe? After some serious thought, someone came up with a bold idea. Hit the Baron where it hurt, his mining operation. That very same day, Sam and his group headed out to the mines. They approached quietly, moving like shadows. The workers were still doing their usual routine, and the guards had no idea what was coming. One by one, the guards were taken down without a single alarm going off. In just a few minutes, the place was theirs. With the guards out of the way, Sam told the miners they were free. They didn't have to break their backs for Bogue anymore. What surprised them was how many of those miners were eager to join the fight. Turns out, Bogue hadn't exactly treated them well either, and now they had a shot at revenge. The group walked away not just with more fighters, but with something even better, dynamite. A whole stash of it. That stuff would come in real handy soon. Meanwhile, over in the Baron's camp, one of his surviving goons ran back with the bad news. The Baron lost it. He couldn't believe that a small group of nobodies had wiped out over 20 of his men. The messenger tried to explain, saying one of them fought like he had the strength of 10 men. But Bogue wasn't having it. In a fit of rage, he pulled out his gun and shot the poor guy in front of everyone else, just to make a statement. Then he barked out new orders. Gear up, ride out, we're gonna crush them. Back in the town, with dynamite now in their hands, Sam and his crew started laying down the framework for their defense. They mapped out the area, pointed out choke points, assigned who would cover what parts of town, and planned how they'd draw the enemy right into the church. A trap. If things got really bad and they were cornered, they'd blow the place sky high, hopefully taking the enemy down with them. Everyone was working day and night, digging, reinforcing, training, wiring up explosives. It was exhausting, but in those short breaks between work, the group would sit together, sharing jokes and stories, trying to keep spirits high. The townsfolk were no longer looking at them like outsiders. Now, they were being treated like saviors, like family. Just as things were starting to feel a little hopeful, Red Harvest, the Native American warrior who had been helping them, came rushing in with an update. Bogue's army was coming. They'd be there the next morning. Even with all the prep they'd done, hearing Bogue's name out loud still made people nervous. He was a monster, after all, and people didn't forget what he'd done. Sam, though, didn't flinch. He kept encouraging everyone to stay strong, to remember what they were fighting for. But that night, something unexpected happened. Goodnight, the sharpshooter who'd once pulled off an incredible feat, hitting over 30 targets without missing, decided he couldn't take it anymore. He said he didn't want to be part of the killing, not again. Sam didn't try to stop him. Everyone has their own demons, their own breaking point. He respected Goodnight's decision and let him go. Later that evening, Emma approached Sam. Quietly but firmly, she said she wanted to take Goodnight's place. Sam didn't say much, but the look in his eyes told her he agreed. Morning arrived, and with it, the calm before the storm. The town stood ready. Kids and elders had been sent far away to safety, and those who remained were at their positions. Sam stepped out first, standing alone at the edge of town. When Bogue and his army saw just one man, they laughed. Big mistake. The Baron gave the signal to charge, completely unaware that he was sending his men straight into a death trap. As they galloped in, the first wave triggered a series of hidden explosives. The blast tore through horses and men alike. Before the dust even settled, the second trap kicked in, tripwires. Horses stumbled, riders flew, and chaos exploded everywhere. That's when the townsfolk popped out from cover, guns blazing. Bullets rained down from rooftops and alleyways. Sam and his horse darted through the chaos, drawing enemies deeper into the trap. The brothers took up sniper positions, firing from every angle. The attackers tried to regroup, but more explosions blocked their way. They had no choice but to scatter, falling right into more ambushes. Watching from afar, Bogue was livid. He'd lost more men than he could count and still hadn't even broken the town's defenses. So he gave the order, bring out the Gatling gun. Inside the town, the defenders were running low on energy and ammo. Then suddenly, like something out of a movie, Goodnight showed up again. He couldn't walk away from the fight, after all. He warned everyone about the Gatling gun just moments before it started spitting bullets. That weapon was terrifying. It tore through buildings like paper, and anything or anyone in its path was mowed down. The town was made of wood, so there weren't many good places to hide. Several brave defenders were cut down right there. The town was getting shredded. Still, nobody gave up. The kids were let out the back and sent running across the fields. Old Jack Horn, one of their toughest fighters, was the first to fall. But even as he was dying, he fought like hell. The group knew if they didn't stop that machine gun soon, it was over. So they came up with a last-ditch plan. A small group would rush it, while Goodnight and Billy laid down cover fire from a distance. It was a suicide mission, but Faraday stepped up and led the charge. They were gunned down one after the other, but Faraday, badly injured, managed to crawl his way forward. Pretending to be finished, he lit a cigar. One of the enemy soldiers walked up to help, thinking it was a small act of mercy for a dying man. But it was a trick. Faraday suddenly sprang to life with a stick of lit dynamite and hurled it at the gun. Boom! The whole thing went up, wiping out the Gatling and everyone near it. The tide of the battle turned. With most of his men gone, Bogue and a few others rode into town, thinking it was practically over. But Sam and the last of the defenders were waiting. One by one, Bogue's men were picked off until it was just him left. Sam stepped forward. The final showdown began. 2 men, 1 gunfight. Winner takes all. Bogue went for his gun, but Sam was faster. He shot him in the arm, disarming him. Then he dragged the wounded Baron into the church. There, Sam revealed something deeply personal. Bogue had once attacked Sam's family. His mother and sisters were victims of the Baron's cruelty. Now, Sam demanded justice, even forcing Bogue to pray for the souls of the dead. But Bogue, ever the snake, had one last trick. He reached for a hidden gun in his boot. Just as he aimed, Emma, who'd been watching, put a bullet in him, ending it for good. With Bogue dead, the battle was officially over. The town was devastated, and many had given their lives, but their sacrifice meant something. They had defended their home and won. Of the 7 original cowboys, only 3 remained: Sam, Vasquez, and Red Harvest. The rest were buried and mourned by the people they fought to protect. Sam and the survivors didn't stick around for praise. They slipped away quietly, heading back to wherever they came from. They never asked for payment, and they didn't want fame. But what they did would be remembered forever. They weren't just cowboys, they were legends.